FreightFM, our first ever podcast here with FreightFM. We're really excited to get started on it. Just a little backstory, we've been doing webinars for the last year and a half, 2 years at Interlog. We've really enjoyed having a monthly live webinar to be able to connect with our audience, our viewers, our customers. And then we've had some great feedback on it. People enjoy coming, so we've decided to expand it and kind of start a podcast here to be more consistent, more frequent with you guys. So we're going to touch on anywhere from industry updates, best practices, learning a little bit about our company, who we are, just kind of a little bit of everything. So those will be posted on our socials, our website, and our newsletters. So it should be a pretty easy way to find them. A little introduction, I will be one of the hosts here at FreightFM. We also have a few other hosts that will be doing future podcasts too. So I was lucky enough to start with the first one. So without further ado, Dave, welcome. Dave is our president here at Interlog, and he is going to start off the first one talking about the history of Interlog and his background on it. So Dave, I'll kind of let you start it, just a little bit of a backstory of how you became a part of Interlog. When did you become president, and where has it kind of gone since?
Yeah, those are all good questions, and I'm not sure we can do it in a timely manner, but we'll try to keep it short. And I'm kind of really excited about this, Rachel, because it's very rare that I get to share all of the history of where we've been and where we're going. A lot of times customers are more worried about what can we do for them right now. And knowing where we've been and where we're going, I think really helps the customer make the decision and really get the comfort in what we're doing and that we're the right partner for them, right? So if you back it up, Interlog started in 1995. Right. So we've been around a long time. We've seen all kinds of different economic cycles. We've seen, the evolution from freight forwarders dealing with fax machines and folders and stuff like that, all the way to the digital age where we're at now. Right. And while I will admit Interlog is never on the forefront of technology, we're really close second. Right. And the reason is because I think there's a lot of guys out there pioneering things that we don't necessarily need to be part of because they aren't tried and true things, right? But we do offer everything that you need to do. And I think that's exciting, right? So Interlog started in 1995. We were just kind of your standard forwarder for a while, dealing with small to medium-sized shippers, things like that. I started in a business development role, purely as sales. We started to grow the company, and in 2004, I was given an opportunity to buy an equity stake, right? Basically, the guy that ran the company at the time, Jim Taylor, was afraid that I was going to leave and go work for a competitor. So he found out a way to tie me to a shareholder agreement so I couldn't leave. After we did that, we had really good growth. And in 2006, we actually sold to Zimlines. Zim bought 75% of Interlog because it was at the time where Merce Logistics, APL Logistics, NYK Logistics was showing up on the scene, and Zimlines wanted their own logistics division, right? It was a really good opportunity for us, and it taught us a lot about big forwarders and how ocean carriers work. Zim in 2011 decided that they wanted to divest themselves of the forwarding and focus more on their core business of steamship lines. So at that time, I put together a small group of people, and we put together a management buyout, and we bought the company back from Zim. Ever since then, we've really been focused on doing what's right by our customer, right? Because we're privately held and we don't have shareholders or private equity and things like that, we're really able to focus on only doing the things that make sense, right? We're not chasing revenue for the sake of revenue. We're not chasing profit just to make quarter goals and stuff like that. We're here to build a very sustainable company that provides a good environment for our customers to excel in and for us to be an asset to them, and also a place for our employees to come and learn and try new things so that they can get better and develop their careers. And also in return, they make Interlog better. And when Interlog's better, the customers see better service. That's kind of how we got to where we're at. I think the last 24 months have been really challenging for us just as the volatility in the market with space and rates and stuff like that, I think it challenged everybody in our industry. I think Interlog performed better than most of its peers. We had both customer count increase, we had shipment count increase, and all of that went hand in hand with just customers being frustrated by their current provider, right? And I think it was the first time in history that every CEO in America took logistics and supply chain seriously, right? And since we take it seriously and that's the service we offer, we responded well to the customers and the market and the demand and helped a lot of customers get their needs met. And there were also a handful of customers that we turned away just because they weren't a good fit for us long term. We knew that at some point the bubble would pop. And I think right now we're seeing the bubble slowly decreasing. I'm not sure it's a pop, but we'll continue to do business with the customers that makes the most amount of sense for us to do business with.
Awesome. And kind of going on to where we're at right now, it has been a quite challenging 24 months. What in your mind set us apart from our competitors, and what did we shift as a company when the pandemic did come? What did we do to make sure that we're staying ahead of it before we were now behind it?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that helped us over some others is we had already used remote-based software platforms and stuff like that. So like when the world shut down, 2 years ago, March, right? It was super easy for us to deploy people to work from home, right? Because we kind of have always had flexible work schedules. Or employees have always had laptops and extra monitors at home and stuff like that. And we've kind of really decentralized a lot of our communication. So for us to, work in a remote environment, it was really good for us. But I think really where we excelled in is the fact that we were able to meet the challenges of what it happened, right? We created our pricing and procurement team expanded to do booking capacity management and things like that. So that we were really able to find bookings and extra space and things like that in the import market. And 2 years ago, space was super tight and rates were really high, right? So we had dedicated people to find that space, right? And now, while we're seeing a decrease on the import side, those same people have been redeployed to our export departments, right? Where those bookings are still hard to come by, and you're booking 6 weeks out and things like that. So a lot of what we've learned, we're redeploying in other areas. A lot of times people always ask us, what's the difference between you and someone else, and different our competitors? And really, we're kind of all somewhat the same, using the same 13 steamship lines, same trucker, same airlines. We don't have boats that go faster. We don't have trucks that haul more or go faster. But the thing is we have, a really good customer base of 500 customers, and from them we listen and learn their best practices, right? And we figure out a way that we could adapt our best practices to help them. So the big differentiation and where we've done is really getting a pool or a funnel of those best practices and rolling them out and deploying them, however they see fit and where they can be deployed. I mean, we have some customers that teach us a lot of things every day. And we have other customers that we wish they would listen to some things because we can make their life so much easier.
Awesome. Yeah, I think kind of too is a lot of people right now, especially in the market, we're getting close to quarter four, getting into the new year. A lot of shippers are preparing for their 2023 plan. What is Interlog doing to set up our customers for 2023? Is there going to be a big shift come the new year? Are we having different market changes happening? I know rates are now decreasing. And kind of what is your recommendations for shippers to best prepare?
So I think I shake my magic 8-ball every day to figure out what 2023 is going to bring. While we're seeing rate decreases and increased capacity in the Trans-Pacific lane, right? The stuff in the transatlantic, in and out of Europe is still tight, and we're seeing big delays in Italy and France and Germany, and those rates aren't changing. And even the northbound lanes like in southbound to and from South America, right? We still do a lot of business with Brazil and stuff like that. And there's, still high rates there, and bookings are out 6 to 8 weeks, right? So it'll be curious to see how that all goes together. And I think the big global guys that do business in all of those markets probably still see it as a challenge. I think some of the guys that focus primarily just in Trans-Pacific business are probably, taking a deep breath right now, right? However, we're still in game mode, right? Because we don't know what exactly we're going to have and what exactly we're not going to have. But I will tell customers that, staying up to date with where your market is in your particular trade lane is going to be key. Because if there's any change, you don't want to be surprised. And I think some of your more advanced forwarders might expect you to know when really you might not know, right? So if you have any questions, reach out to a trusted resource and ask, what they're seeing, because I think we will start seeing, really quarterly swings both ways, right? When it comes to capacity and rates, because the steamship lines and a lot of the airlines, they're going to want back their revenue, right? Because they got really, sassy and happy, when the revenues were so high, and they're going to want that, right? Because they're going to have to justify to the shareholders, where did it go, and explain that it wasn't a blip, even though everybody knows it was a blip. They're going to have to try to get it back. So I think just being really diligent and still, really focus on the soft side of the equation, aside from this overall price, focus on the technology, focus on the visibility, focus on integrating your logistics guy into your own processes, right? So that you can make your company more efficient, right? Because if you can eliminate one person or speed up your production or whatever, right? There's thousands and thousands of dollars of savings, right? If you have someone right now that all they do is schedule appointments, automate it, right? And there you get to save $50,000 a year just by, not that we want to put anyone out of work, but redeploy them to something that they can do that's more productive than scheduling delivery appointments and something that can be automated.
Right. No, yeah. Thank you for all that. That was great. And just to kind of recap it all, you've been in the industry for so many years, Dave. You've seen it all. You've gone through different shifts. You've gone through a pandemic that we've never really had before in this industry. What has been the most interesting thing out of your career in logistics, and what do you get most excited about?
I don't know. Now you're making me sound old, right? But this would probably be like my third economic cycle if we truly do have a recession, right? This is like a pandemic that was real, but I remember when we had SARS out of Southeast Asia years ago, and that was kind of neat. I think the most exciting thing about what we do is it's constantly different in the same linear process, right? Because there's always, you pick it up, you deliver it, you quote a price, you charge a price, right? Our business isn't all that complicated, but when you get in all the people, the personalities, the products, the regulations, the volatilities, and all this anecdotal stuff that only happens once, right? We could almost write a book on things that, on one-time wonders that went sideways, right? And it'd be a pretty comical book. But I still think the thing that I like most about my job, and I tell this to people we interview all the time, is I could show up in 121 different countries tonight, and there will be someone to pick me up at the airport and buy me a beer and a burger, right? And I think at the end of the day, if you can connect with people, right, the technology will happen and the rest of the business happens. But it's all about making that connection to hear what you're actually saying, to truly identify what the problem is you're trying to solve. And then from there, coming up with solutions and holding people accountable. I mean, because it's not complicated. We just have to have the right conversation to get to the right solution.
Right. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time here, Dave.
No problem. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Great first episode. I'm glad you were able to join us. We'll post this on our socials here, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.